Good morning or happy lunchtime to those of you on the East Coast, for those who are just joining, and welcome to Mindful Weekend Yoga. And a reminder that you get to choose what you opt in or opt out of. And much of the practice of yoga is choosing that, figuring out what works for you and what doesn't. And in your Zoom box, you have tremendous freedom to choose that without any judgment by anyone else. And so take advantage of that here in today's class and any others that you join in the future. And as I like to do, I'm going to choose a theme for today. And the theme for today is also in line with that series of upcoming classes that I'm going to teach next week. So for those of you who just joined, because it looks like a number of people just added, I'm going to teach Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday next weekend, all at this time of day, in anticipation of all of the upcoming uncertainty and change. And today's class is also offered with a bit of that intention. And the invitation today is finding peace and calm in presence with all of the chaos and uncertainty that is causing for many a lot of fear. And while that doesn't sound like a delightful yoga topic, it is, in that yoga offers this chance to settle and connect and center yourself amidst the chaos. With that invitation, I invite you to settle and center on your mat. If you have a block sitting atop the block, find your sit bones, those ischial spines, root them down into the earth, tilt your pelvic bowl forward and sit up tall. Noticing that you can sit up tall no matter what is happening around you, and not in a forced way, in a comfortable way. Noticing that when you align your vertebrae one atop the other and reach the crown of your head to the sky, potentially it's less work, it's more aligned, it brings more ease. If it's okay for you, close your eyes. And today I invite hands down to start. Noticing your palms on your thighs if your legs are crossed. And if that doesn't work, choose an alternate position for those legs. And closing eyes, if that's okay for you. Bringing mind, body, and spirit all into this same spot, centered, settled, and grounded on your mat. In this moment, safe, calm, and connected. Finding your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Letting the breath nourish and heal you. Literally giving strength to each and every cell in the form of oxygen. Recognizing that it's our inner health and wellness and well-being that helps us move forward. Finding our own centeredness and groundedness allows us to be part of the solution and also simply to live in the world as it is today. That is often our greatest contribution, to do what we do well, to not take on all the problems and worries of the world, but to take on ourselves and our own life. And my invitation today is to not only focus on peace and presence, but also on a bit of pleasure. That in the end, whatever happens, whenever it happens to each and every one of us in our own life experience, we won't wish we had struggled now. We will wish we had found peace and enjoyed the present and allowed ourselves to be nourished by a little bit of pleasure. Not in a toxic positivity way, but in a healthy way. that in the midst potentially of waking up worried or noticing that you feel on edge or responsible or needing to help, that gifting yourself breath, gifting yourself peace, and gifting yourself presence might be the most helpful thing. Noticing the breath, gift yourself the breath all the way to each fingernail and releasing it softly. Inhaling the breath to each toenail and releasing it softly. Letting it pour through you, nourish you, create some space. Breathing the breath into your belly. Notice it fill into that pelvic region, into the root chakra where our safety and secure centers are. Filling it with breath. And exhaling softly. And we'll bring a hand to heart, as I love to do, and another hand to top. Sending yourself the oxytocin, that loving, creative, safe, warm, feel-good hormone. Pressing the palmar surface of your hand. If it can be skin to skin, better. If not, use the pressure, gentle pressure. And enjoy the top hand on the bottom hand, rubbing the palmar surface on the dorsal surface. Enjoy that skin to skin. Enjoy the sensations. Melting some of the cortisol. That constant hypervigilance and constant cortisol bath comes at a cost. No matter what is ahead, we'll all wish we arrived for it as healthy and happy and whole and healed as we can. Letting this time on your mat and any other moment in the day where you can find a little bit of peace, be present in the present. Letting that set you up, giving you buoyancy, bringing ease, filling your cup, letting your physiology be optimal for all that's ahead. Taking a moment here, hand on heart, to let that soak in and let it travel all around, tucking this feeling of peace and presence and the intention of being in the moment where you are in this moment into every nook and cranny, every cell, letting your nervous system recognize it. Remembering that the media and all the outside sources of the world benefit when they activate us and trigger us and get us into reactivity and sympathomimetic storm. We don't have to be there all the time. Whenever you want, bringing your hand to heart, coming back to your breath, finding your root, your groundedness, your center, and noticing the pleasure in the presence of the moment, pausing to be present, pausing to notice that most of the time in that presence, things are okay. Not always, but most of the time. When your brain begins to spiral or your nervous system begins to spiral, finding the breath, finding your center, softening, reconnecting. And as we move forward in class today, perhaps choosing to pay attention on purpose to what feels good, where you feel centered and grounded. What helps you be in the present? Is it breathing? Is it your feet? Is it your belly? Is it your heart? Is it closing your eyes? Is it silence? I was at a retreat myself over the last few days, and what I learned is anesthesiologists need silence, and people who work in ORs, because there's always beeping, and people like me who are trained as a pediatrician, I have to close my eyes to find peace and calm because I'm used to scanning the room for what might be dangerous or what I might be missing. And so noticing your tendency and gifting yourself the opposite, gifting yourself what you need, what your nervous system needs to reconnect to yourself and to the present, to a sense of peace and calm. And when you feel complete, rub hands together, create a little heat, create a little energy. Bring the thumbs to your sternum, and the fingers reach to the sky and elbows out wide. And set your intention for today, for this moment on your mat, for this time period. Maybe it's simply being present. Maybe it's acceptance. Maybe it's calm. Maybe it's connecting with your center, finding groundedness, whatever it might be. When you feel complete, lowering hands and opening eyes, and have a shimmy and a wiggle, just releasing any tension in whatever way feels good to you. And bringing hands and shaking them, literally letting the movement, inviting a little relaxation and softening. As I mentioned, there's a lot of somatic science about the shaking and releasing and allowing yourself to drop in. And we'll come to stillness, hands by your sides. Inhaling both arms up to the sky, interlace your fingers, flip your palms up, have a shimmy, grow tall from your root through the palms. We say root to rise, slight arch back, exhale, round forward, suck your belly back, creating space, stretching, press the palms forward. Let your head and neck relax. Notice your thoracic spine, notice the interscapular space. Inhale, reach tall once again. Exhale, round forward. Suck your belly back. Find your center. Notice your root. Inhale, grow tall. Root downward, rise upward. Opening arms out to the sides. Press your palms into the side while wrists flex and spread your fingers wide. Let the energy in. Squeeze your hands tight as you can and flicking them outward, squeezing them tight and flicking them outward, letting some of that energy fly, releasing the tension, squeezing tight, tense, 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 and flick it outward. Wrap your arms around in front in a huge hug. Remembering this value of hugging yourself, releasing the oxytocin, perhaps have a rock, some kindness for being a human in this world as it is today. Enjoying that squeezy hug. Drop your chin to chest, release your neck, your back a wee bit. Reconnect to your belly as you do this. Find your center. Notice your. Press your hands into the side walls with energy, with strength. Pinch your scapula and release. And wrap your arms in the opposite way. Another huge hug. Always gifting both sides. Squeezing tight. Have a little rock. Drop chin to chest. Exhale, release. Back to neutral and untangle. Lower your hands to the earth. Shrug your shoulders up. Tight, tight, tight. Squeeze the occiput in. Lots of energy shifting. And release and melt with intention. If you find your nervous system activated, scrunch those shoulders up. We'll do it again. Drop your occiput in there, squeeze tight, 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 and melt to soften. Close eyes and pause for a moment. Notice how you feel already. Open eyes. If you have a block under you, pick it up and stretch your legs long. Move the flesh of the seat with kindness, as I love to say. Root your ischial spines downward and find your center. Find your rootedness, downward groundedness through the hips and your center in your belly. Engage your legs. Knees will be bent slightly, ankles flexed, toes spread wide. Lots of energy here. Find that belly. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Exhale, hinge forward wherever you can reach. The first forward fold may not be the biggest. Let it feel good. It's a practice of dipping a toe in. Softly inviting a little stretch, a little release. Drop your head and neck and breathe. In and exhale softly. Let the breath be a balm. Exhale, release, noticing that you can have tension and tightness and calm all at the same time. Yoga offers the duality of finding peace, enjoying the present, recognizing pleasure, all at the same time as whatever else might be going on, tension, stress, a chaotic world. Slide your hands to your shins, to your knees, to your thighs. You'll bring your hands behind you, coming into Dandasana or staff pose. Your fingers will touch the earth, pressing your hands into the earth. Chest comes forward, big inhale into your belly. Drop your shoulders. Exhale, lower your knees to where you can, lift heels up. Root downward on the inhale. Root your sit bones into the earth. Chest puffs forward. Exhale, soften in, everything's still engaged. Once again, press into your fingers, grow tall. Exhale, soften into Dandasana. Everything engaged, staff pose, a strong you. Strengthening your inner self, finding your root, your center, your belly engaged. Exhale, release everything, wiggle your toes. Point toes. Flex your ankles, spread your toes wide. Use your belly and your root. Point your toes. Flex your ankles, toes come towards you, spread them wide. Focusing on little movements that are in your control. Point your toes once again, using your belly, sitting strong and tall. Exhale, flex your ankles. Point your right toe, flex your left ankle, and switch sides. Once again, point one side and the other. And relax, bang your knees out. We're going to sweep our feet around, come to hands and knees. Have your knees be directly under your hips. Notice if they are narrower than your hips. And your hands directly under your shoulders to begin. Spread your fingers wide. Plant the palms into the earth. All 5 fingers press downward. Notice each finger pad one at a time. Send your knuckles flat to the earth and the palmar surface flat to the earth. Engage your elbows and bring your humeral heads into the shoulder sockets. Find your belly. Find your pelvic bowl. Find your sacrum. Inhale for a small cow pose. Let it be very small. Exhale, round into cat. Let it be small to begin. Nudging yourself slowly. Inhale for a tiny cow pose. Let the hips do most of the work today. Finding your belly and your center and that sacral solar plexus region where we have our sense of safety. Reconnecting to that, tilting the pelvic bowl up and down. Walk your hands forward a handprint. Your hands will be in front of your shoulders. Check on your knees, see if they've moved. Inhale for cow here. Feels very different. Being kind to your neck, reaching up into cat. Once again, inhale with the hands a little farther forward than the shoulders. Notice your belly, notice your hips and your pelvic girdle. Using your core here to wrap and engage everything to protect you. Come back to center. Lower down to your elbows. Walk your elbows forward, coming into puppy pose. Walk the forearms forward, spread your fingers wide. Forearms are on the earth, palms are on the earth, each finger on the earth. Lower your forehead to the floor, and your rear end is going to stick up. Let your third eye connect to the earth underneath, sending the breath to whatever you might be carrying in the shoulders, you might like to release. Let the tops of your feet be light. You might even bang them slightly. Wiggling each finger, walking them forward a tiny bit, and pause. Huge breath into all the pockets of tightness, thanking them for holding things so tightly, creating some space. Breathe into every nook and cranny of the lungs, every alveoli. Exhale, release. This breath, send it to your belly button. Let your belly expand. Exhale, let the belly reach up towards the spine. Walk your hands back towards you ever so slowly. Take your time, coming back up to tabletop. Find your steadiness here. Walk your hands forward, a handprint again, curl toes and lift up to downward dog. Taking a moment in downward dog, I encourage you to try wide feet today and maybe wider hands. A stable, steady, strong dog. Gazing between your legs. Lift up all 10 toes if you can, coming onto the balls of your feet pretty much. Lowering each toe downward, noticing the toe surface on the floor. Let them ground. Fingers ground into the earth, palms ground into the earth, and reach your sit bones high to the sky. Lift up onto your tippy toes as high as you can. Lower your heels. Let the energy move. And notice your center and your groundedness here. Upside down with the energy moving. Close eyes if that's available. Find the breath. We'll take 5 breaths here. Downward dog is a rest pose, believe it or not. And we can find rest even amidst awkward positions and awkward situations and stressful things happening outside us. Find the rest and the pause, the presence, the steadiness within. Open eyes if they are closed. Walk your hands forward, a hand print, and we'll shift our weight forward, coming into plank pose. Find your belly and your center here, holding it tight, noticing your steadiness, finding your inner strength, what's going on inside, and not forcibly, just finding where it is. Reconnecting with the inner you in the midst of all the outer noise. Shift forward onto your tippy toes, bend your knees, wrap your elbows in, lower down chaturanga to the earth. Weight is out of your hands. Lift up slowly to low cobra. Heart shines forward. Pause here. Root the front of your hips downward, tops of your feet downward. Weight is out of your hands. Enjoy your lower back. Enjoy a breath or two here in low cobra. Lower down. Release your neck. Curl your toes and press up to downward dog. Walk the dog. Enjoy it. Come to stillness. Inhale,
send your sit bone, as high as you can. Press hands downward. Forehead comes a little closer to the floor, and pause. 2 breaths here. Find steadiness, be in the moment. Notice the palmar surface on the floor. Notice each toe on the floor. If you can close your eyes, connect to your chest and your belly here. Take a moment to find steadiness in your hands, find your belly, adjust anything that needs adjusting. Root your right ball mound into the floor, engage your belly and raise your left leg, come into 3-legged dog. Find your center here. Press your heel into the back wall, square to the front, elbows engaged, everything engaged. Press the heel into the back wall, right leg is straight. Huge breath in. Exhale, gently bring your foot between your hands. We're going to cartwheel up to warrior 2. Finding your center and groundedness here. Take a moment so that your warrior feels strong on the inside. Noticing the sole of both feet. Let every cell in the bottom of both feet connect to the floor. Notice each toe. Notice the outer edge of the back foot and the ball mound of the front foot. Notice your belly. Inhale, grow tall, reach the crown of your head to the sky. Exhale, bend that front knee and sink in. The front knee doesn't come in front of the ankle, being kind to your ankle and your knee. Notice your hands, even them. Gazes over the front middle finger, your drishti, your intention. As we move through tumultuous times, chaotic times, having your intention, your gaze, your focus on something can be very helpful. What would you like your focus to be? Let that center you, ground you. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, sink into warrior 2 a little bit more. Channeling, as we say, your inner warrior, not white knuckling, but that inner strength, inner center, inner knowing. Connecting to what is steady right now in your life. What feels good. Flip that front palm up, drop the back arm down the back leg, and reach up into elegant warrior. Fanning open the rib cage, letting this feel good. Huge breath in. Wiggle fingers lightly. Cartwheel your arms back to warrior 2. Bring both arms in front. Shift your hips. You'll walk your right foot out a bit, and we're going to come into warrior 1, channeling our inner warriors with intention today. Your hips will face forward. Notice your front foot. Notice your back foot. Find steadiness. Hands can be on your hips for a moment till you find that steadiness. Close eyes and find your center. You might wobble when you close your eyes. Notice each toe, notice the ball of your foot, notice the sole of your foot. Coming up through the legs, find your center, find your belly. Take in a breath, breathing into that center. Connecting with you. Reach both arms up to the sky, opening eyes, wiggling fingers, enjoying this warrior 1. Huge breath in, sink in a little bit. Holding this posture a little longer than usual, you might notice things shaking, being kind. Open your arms out to the sides, reclasp them at your sacrum, press your fists down, heart shines forward, Shoulders down and back. Send some love to the right hip flexor as you do this. Huge breath in. Pour the breath in to every nook and cranny, all the way to your toes. Exhale, root downward. Find your center. Inhale, filling your belly. Exhale, sink a little lower. Your back heel may touch the earth now or may not. If you wish, tip forward into humble warrior. Your arms will reach up and your head will come to the inside of that left knee. If this doesn't work for you, just skip it, or it doesn't feel right today. Notice how it feels. Perhaps an intentional being humble to whatever is out there, knowing that you are strong and steady amidst it. Find your belly if you're here, connect to your heart space. Slowly rise up. Release your hands, shake them out. And we'll lower our hands to the floor. If you happen to have blocks, grab them. Hop that back foot forward. Come into a pyramid pose, a short one, and send some love to your calf, rocking forward and backwards. Send some love to the back of the hamstring. Inhale for a half lift, hands on blocks. If you have them, back is flat. Exhale, lower down, fold over the left leg. Elbows can bend, release your head and neck. Let yourself melt in and enjoy it. If anything is cramping or gripping, move it, wiggle it. Remembering this power of movement and shaking and letting things go. Hop your back foot forward to meet the front foot. Widen your feet, coming into a forward fold. If you have those blocks, keep them handy. Bring your hands to opposite elbows and sway. Release the back, release tension. Lift up all 10 toes, rock, sway. And when you feel ready, lower toes and see if you can find your center. Notice you know where it is when you found it. Pause there. Centered, grounded, connected, upside down. If your blocks are handy, build a tower and place your forehead on the tower upside down. Root your forehead, your third eye downward. Hands can rest lightly on the floor. Knees are bent. Head on blocks in a forward fold is a great pose if you have anxiety. You want to find center, groundedness. You can also just put a block on your desk. Works almost as well. Close eyes if you can. Let yourself melt. One more breath. And when you're ready, roll up. Knees bent, unroll your spine, align your vertebrae one at a time until you come to stand. And as you arrive, channel your mountain, find your mountain. Take a moment, lift up all 10 toes and root them downward. Find your belly, tilt it forward, engage your belly, let your heart be light, fill your chest with breath. Exhale, let your hands fall forward, coming into mountain pose. Channeling that inner fortitude and simplicity of a mountain. Even amidst the wildfires, the mountains are still standing. We all have that inner mountain. Letting your eyes close. Dropping into your body, recognizing how you are safe in this moment. You are steady in this moment. You are strong in this moment. Your body is working well enough in this moment. Big breath in and out. Bring a hand to heart and another hand to top. Checking in, sending yourself compassion for whatever feelings have been coming up. letting them be. As a human, we get to have all kinds of feelings. Sending yourself kindness and non-judgment. Taking in a breath of agency and control, getting to choose what you'd like to focus on. Exhale, release. Lower hands, reach your arms out and up to the sky. Palms come together, slight arch back, and we'll hinge forward, forward fold to the floor. Inhale for that half lift. Exhale, fold forward and pause. Grasp elbows, find that steadiness, sway. Let the sway be very natural, letting energy move as you sway. Come to stillness and center. Lower your hands and step back to downward dog. Plant yourself here, sending your roots down with your palms, with the balls of your feet, with your toes. Find steadiness. Shake your head, release any tension. Yes, no, circles, whatever feels good. You may want to rock back and forth here. Come to stillness when that feels right for you. If you have a lot going on, you may want to move and wiggle and waggle even more before you come to your spot. Reconnect to the palms of both hands, all 10 fingers. Press each one into the floor one at a time. Press the palms downward, the ball of the left foot downward. Find your belly and your center. Raise your right leg. Come to three-legged dog. Press your heel into the back wall. Everything square to the front. Pressing in. No white knuckling today, no tricky balances, just owning that center, feeling strong and tall and centered and grounded. Inhale, send the breath all the way to the belly, to the center. Exhale, gently bring it between your hands. Cartwheel open to warrior two on this side. And take a moment to find your steadiest warrior. Notice your hips. Tack that right hip back a little bit, left hip forward a little bit. Gaze is over the right middle finger, your drishti, where you're headed. Inhale, grow that torso tall to the sky. Exhale, sink in, bend the front knee. Sink into this warrior. Once again, ground into the earth. Find your toes, the balls of your feet. Notice your drishti. Choosing that with intention. Not forcing it, but just a gentle direction. Once again, grow tall through the crown of your head. Find your center. Exhale, sink in. Bend your front knee a little bit more. Flip the front palm up. Send the left hand down the left leg. Reach upward into peaceful or elegant warrior. Filling your ribs, your body, your belly with breath. Exhale, sinking in maybe a little bit more. Noticing your ability to be graceful and elegant and strong all at the same time without white knuckling it. In fact, the softening and the opening brings groundedness. Accepting what is. Cartwheel back open to warrior two. Take a moment to settle into this warrior two. Huge breath in, your torso reaches tall. Exhale, sink into the hips. Notice the soles of both feet. Notice all 10 toes. Finding steadiness, find your center, find your belly. Using your belly, reach your right arm up to the sky and bring it forward. Hop your left foot out, reach your arms to the sky, coming into a warrior one. Bring your hands to your hips and find your center. Lifting up all 10 toes and rooting them down one by one. Right hip tacks back, left hip reaches forward. Your calf may be stretching. Don't overstretch anything. Bend your front knee. Inhale, grow tall. Your chest is light, heart is light. Exhale, sink down into this warrior one, into your belly. Reach your arms to the sky. And take a moment here in your warrior one, reconnecting to that inner strength, inner calm, being present here in this moment with whatever's going on in your body. Reaching arms out and down, reclasp them at your sacrum, press your fists downward, shoulders down and back, heart shines forward. Noticing in this moment what you feel, what you notice. Shift forward on the inside of your knee, if you wish, coming into humble warrior. Recognizing that softening in brings more stability. White knuckling and clenching usually makes you tip. Allowing the release in the shoulders. Just notice, breathe. Always reconnect to the breath as the unsteadiness emerges. Lower hands to your sacrum and slowly rise up, taking your time. Root downward, find your belly, find the soles of your feet. Grow through your spine, align each vertebrae, reaching the crown of the head to the sky. Release your hands, shake them out. Have a good shake here. Release anything, roll them, but perhaps just shake vigorously. Reach your arms to the sky in stillness. Lower hands, grab your blocks and come into that short pyramid today. Short and steady. In the shorter pyramid, you may notice the left calf and the right hamstring at the same time. Knees are straight. Toes jet line forward. Right hip tacks back, left hip forward. Breathe into your belly. Exhale, forward fold over your front leg. Release your head and neck. And pause to enjoy. Releasing, stretching, and being grounded, safe, steady, and relaxed all at the same time. When we're present with it, all those things can happen almost without any effort. Let the breath steady you. Step your back foot forward to meet the front foot. Coming into that forward fold, grasp elbows and have a sway. Let it feel really, really good. Lift up all 10 toes and lower them down. Find your center. Lower your hands. Engage your belly button and your center and roll up. Using your lower pelvic region too to steady you. Coming to stand in mountain pose, channeling that mountain once again. Take a moment here to pause. Pause and be present in your mountain. Notice each toe on the floor, soles of the feet on the floor. Wiggle fingers lightly. Draw up that energy through your calves, through your thighs, into your belly, wrapping your center with it, drawing that energy and lightness up into your chest, wrapping your heart with it, and growing tall, crown of the head to the sky. Grounded, strong, and filled up with light, potentially. Letting yourself enjoy this for a moment. And we'll open our eyes. Bring your hand to heart once again, and just sending yourself some kindness and good wishes, and sending everyone here some kindness and good wishes. And we'll come to lie down today. If you want to have your block nearby, you can, you don't need it. Lie on your back with your knees bent. Find your sacrum and connect the full triangle to the floor. Notice what else in your body is connected to the floor. Soles of the feet, your occiput, and breathe. Breathe in, pour that breath to every nook and cranny. As it softens and adapts and adjusts to this new reality, gifting it breath, gifting it time and patience, letting it all reintegrate and reorganize with intention. When we set an intention, whether on our mat or off our mat, it can help us center, connect to what really matters. From here, bring the soles of your feet together, knees apart. Come into Supta Baddha Konasana for a moment. Hand on heart, hand on belly. Taking a moment here to bathe yourself with the breath. Be in the present. Gifting yourself breath, restoration, maybe some energy, some kindness. Bring your hands to your thighs and gently draw your knees together. Walk your feet to hips width. Walk your heels towards you, palms on the floor, press up into a bridge pose. If you wish, you can take the block and slide it under you for a supported bridge, rooting your sacrum downward, or lift up and enjoy the heart opening and engaging your glutes. Notice what feels right to you. Do you want the steadiness and groundedness, or the inner energy and power that comes with the activated bridge? You choose what feels right to you. And take 3 breaths wherever you are. If you're in the active bridge, slowly unroll and lower to the earth. If you're in the supported bridge, you'll slowly take the block out from underneath you. Bring your knees to your chest, massage your lower back. Always being kind to yourself, paying attention to integration time and transitions can make the world of difference. Come to stillness. Open your knees and roll your ankles in either direction. Enjoy that. Bring your knees back together. Bring your hands behind your thighs, and you'll raise one leg to the sky, right leg. And bring your toes to your nose and point your toe. And flex your ankle. Right leg is straight, enjoying the flossing of the nerve on that side. Point your toe. Come back to stillness. Bend that knee and switch sides. Straight your left leg to the sky. Root your sacrum downward. Find your center. Flatten it towards the earth. Point your toe. And flex your toe. Point your toe. And flex your toe. In order to do this in this position, you will in case you're wondering or noticing. Bend your knee, come back to center. Bring your hands to your shins and have a rock. Enjoy. Let it feel good. Taking a break. Lower your feet to the floor. Knock your knees together, feet apart. You'll bring your arms over your head. Drop your knees to the right, coming into an easy twist, sending some love to the left hip flexor and psoas. And breathing, pouring the breath into your belly, into your hip, into your knee. Connecting to the earth beneath you, even in this twisted spot. Keep your head facing center today. Big breath in. Draw your knees back to center. Exhale, drop them to the left side. The right knee reaches to the front left corner of the mat, sending love to the hip and psoas on this side. Inviting the gripping to soften. If you are in a state of stress or worry or fear or anxiety, we grip in the hips. Allowing that to soften, recognizing here in this present moment on your mat, you're safe. Noticing what feels good in the present. Restoring, refilling yourself with breath. Bring your knees back to center. Hug them into your chest once again. Find the sacrum underneath, have a rock. Lower your feet to the earth and find your center here. Root your belly downwards. Notice the soles of your feet on the earth, palms of your hand on the earth. Untangle anything that may be tangled. Raise your right knee in the air. Right shin will be 90 degrees. Will be parallel to the ceiling. Palms on the floor. Raise your left leg to meet it. Use your core and your center here. Raise your arms up to the sky. Find your belly. You're in a reverse hands and knees or table. Breathe. Send the breath into your belly. Exhale. Three breaths here. Use your belly, wiggle toes and fingers, let it be light. Notice your sacrum, potentially even rock. Find your steadiness and your center. You're gripping in your hip flexors, soften them. Flex your ankles. Notice what happens. Point your toes, notice what happens. Use your inner thighs to keep your knees together. Hands are facing one another. Drop your right toe to the ground and bring it back up to meet the left knee. Drop your left toe to the ground and bring it back up to meet the right knee. Press your knees together. Heels, ankles, medial malleoli together. Flex your ankles, wiggle your fingers. Slowly lower one hand and then the other, and your right foot and your left foot to meet it. And I'm going to give you a moment here to do whatever feels good to you before Shavasana. It might be an easy twist, anything that your body feels like it missed out on that needs attention. Recognizing that that choice is an encouragement to drop into presence and listen and notice. There's no right choice or wrong choice. Maybe you want a windshield wiper. Maybe you want to do a happy baby. Let it feel good, whatever it is. And slowly make your way, when you are ready, to Shavasana. If you want to grab a bolster or a blanket, do that. Let it be a delicious, comfortable, restorative few minutes. Setting yourself up for that, whatever you might need. If you're feeling less settled in life, more props will likely assist. You can put the bolster under your knees, blanket over you. You could put the blocks under your knees if you happen to have one. And you can also do Shavasana with knees bent and knees together if you wish, or lying flat. Choose what feels best to you. And when you arrive, take a moment to choose what feels best to your hands. You might want both hands on your belly. You might want both hands on the floor. You might want hands down or hands up. Choose what feels good today. Take a huge breath wherever you are. And exhale, release and soften in. Letting the mat hold you in this moment. Letting the earth underneath hold the mat and you. Letting the breath pour into your body and out of your body on its own. Letting your heart soften and feed you as you rest. Letting go of control of the muscles down to your fingertips and your toes. Gifting yourself some rest and rejuvenation and peace and pleasure in this moment. If your body needs more rest and quiet, please stay for a few more moments. If you're ready to come out, gently deepen your breath. Wiggle fingers, toes, inviting consciousness and active presence back into the moment. And take a moment of pleasure. Pleasure to stretch, move, inviting something that feels really good. And when you're complete, make your way up to a seat where we began. Root your ischial spines downward. Tilt your pelvic bowl anteriorly, grow your spine to the sky, reach the crown of the head forward, up to the sky. Inhale, drop your shoulders and settle into your belly. Drop your gaze, close your eyes if you can. Another big breath in, hands on knees facing downward. Exhale, settle into your body on your mat in this moment, taking another moment of pleasure, another moment of presence here in this moment. Appreciating a moment of peace, a moment of quiet, a moment of presence. And capturing this feeling, taking a moment to recognize what it feels like, potentially take a picture of it to carry forth with you into today and into the week ahead. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today. May you all have a week filled with moments of peace, moments of pleasure, and many moments of presence. The light in me honors and reflects the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.